Hello friends, it's Carla here today, and I'm using some fun supplies from the Southern Ridge Trading Company shop and showing you how to alter some chipboard and create a beautiful and easy project. So I've got some really pretty dandelion seed stems and a butterfly from the butterfly swirl combo pack and a loop stencil that is the 3x3 inch size, and it also comes in a 6-inch and a larger size as well, 12-inch I believe. So I'm starting off and I'm altering the chipboard by adding some distress crayons that are made by Ranger and Tim Holtz. And I'm layering on the white picket fence distress crayon first, and then I've got some tumbled glass that I'm adding on, and I'm just roughly coloring them on. These crayons have a waxy finish, and you can blend them a little bit, and I'm just wetting my finger slightly with the wipe so that I don't have a huge amount of water on my finger. It's just enough to slightly blend it. So I'm just blending it out, and just to kind of mix the color slightly. And then I'm going to grab some greens for the stem. We've got peeled paint here, and you can just color on roughly right onto your chipboard. And we've got the pine needles just to add a little bit of color. And you can see I'm just blending it, and then when I get to the top here, I don't want to get too much green into the white and the tumbled glass, so I'm just carefully rubbing the excess off. We've got some Mermaid Lagoon that I'm adding right around the edge, and just blending that in as well. These colors blend nicely, and I really like the effect of the lighter color blending into the darker colors. This chalkboard mist from Tattered Angels is one of my favorite things to use, and I've just refilled an old Wink of Stella pen. You could put the chalkboard mist into any kind of a refillable or a water brush, and then you can easily squeeze that out onto your chipboard and spread it around. It has a really gorgeous semi-translucent quality to it, so you can see the color underneath, but it has lots of shimmer. It's similar to a glimmer mist, but it is semi-opaque instead of translucent. Now I'm coloring the butterfly from the butterfly swirl combo pack, and 2 weeks ago I actually posted a layout that I did on the Southern Ridge Trading Company blog, and I used other elements from that combo if you want to check that out. So this is a really beautiful cut. These are laser cut chipboards, and the detail is just incredible that Southern Ridge uses. So for this one I put down a layer of the white picket fence, and I just felt like it was blending better when it had a first layer of the white on the bottom. I started to put some of that dried marigold on, and then it was a little bit more orange than I realized, so I just wiped it off with the wipe and put the yellow on instead. So I'm blending this in, and you can see, like, I'm not completely blending it out, but it just blends very easily with my finger. So I've got the pink and the yellow base on here, and then I've got the picked raspberry, which is a darker pink, and I'm just adding that around the edge to just give a deeper color. And then I grab that dried marigold again, which is more of an orange, and I'm just blending those, and you can see how nicely the color is added to this, and it just gives it a really beautiful blended shade. We've got a brown distress crayon right now, and I'm blending that in the center. I don't want to blend the brown into the other colors, so I'm just being careful to blend and wipe the excess off with the wipe. Now I'm going to go over with that gorgeous chalkboard mist, and I really love the layer that it adds on top of glitter, and it just almost blends those colors as well again. So I've got a background of watercolor paper. It's just a Recollections paper pad, and then I have some paper from the Simple Stories Spring Farmhouse line, and this is a new line that's just come out with Simple Stories. Very beautiful, and I'm adding a little bit of green and pink Distress Oxide inks just to edge these strips of papers, and these are just some leftover papers that I had from creating some of the kits, and I have those kits posted on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look at the kit, and this was just left over. So I'm layering on the papers, and I've got this Shimmers Pasties Glitz. It's just a translucent glimmer paste, and it's like a texture paste. I'm putting it through the loop stencil and spreading it on with a palette knife, and it's got a really nice glitter effect, almost an iridescent effect when it dries. And I just want it not completely in a square, so I was just careful to layer that on randomly in the center of the stencil. I have this paper that my oldest daughter, had given me. She hand painted it for Christmas, and I cut out some of the pretty watercolor circles that she created, and I'm just taking a brush and applying some of the Distress Oxide right on top of those watercolor circles. So you could do this by hand cutting out some green paper or painting your own circles on some watercolor paper if you want. And then I'm just taking that loop stencil just to create a little bit extra texture and interest, and the brush just allows me to have a really light layer. I rubbed the brush on a wipe, and it cleaned that off very easily, and the wipe wiped off the stencil as well very easily. So again, I'm just going to do the same thing with the pinks and give myself a couple more elements to add to the paper. This is a great way to add more embellishments to your paper and just some extra interest using your stash basically, and what you have, just using some colors that coordinate. So I have my photo of my daughter who's actually blowing a dandelion, and this was just perfect to use with this dandelion seed chipboard. I have this Simplify, which is cut from the Simple Stories 12 by 12 paper that you can cut out yourself. It's like a cut apart sheet in 2 by 2 squares, and I used a stitched die to cut that out. I'm using some tacky glue to glue down the dandelion, and then just adding those pieces of the circles, and I'm just cutting them to fit. I probably should have layered that beforehand, but it was easy enough to just cut that circle. It has the hand cut look anyways, and I'm just layering those on under and around my embellishments. And the die cut ephemera is from the Simple Stories Spring Farmhouse line as well. And when I created that butterfly, I added the colors just to coordinate with those flowers. So I've got some foam tape, and I'm gluing down the flowers and then popping some of them up and layering them on in clusters, and they just add a really nice effect layered over the stenciled images. Now I've got the wish that I cut out with my Cricut. It's a Cricut cut, and Just die cut a piece of cardstock, and then I'm layering that on. And then I cut another little 2x2 square from the cut apart sheet and just cut those words from it into strips, and I'm layering those on as well. So just by adding lots of layering, and it's really a simple layout, but it ends up looking really nice. Got that beautiful butterfly that coordinates with all the colors. And then these two little chipboard pieces actually came out of the center of the butterfly. So they were cut, but they just hadn't been popped out. And I thought these would be great just to add again to the layout. And I did not add any color on these, and they're beautiful as is as well. So I've got my ruler, my grid ruler, which works amazingly for keeping things straight and writing journaling. And I wrote my journaling in, and then just wrote in my daughter's name and her age, and I write the date down on the other side here. So this was really fun to do, and I will definitely use this technique to alter more chipboard. It was quick and easy, and I could customize it to go with the papers that I was using. I added some sequins and gems, and that finished off the layout. So I will link below where you can find the blog post and find lots of close-ups and information and links to the products that you can see here today. Thanks so much for stopping by. I would love for you to like and subscribe, and have an awesome day. Bye.